Okay guys, this video here is going with your 1B notes on how to write a thesis statement. Please do remember you can always pause the videos, stop them, rewind them, whatever you need to do in case I move through them too quickly. Alright, first off, what is a thesis statement? A thesis statement is many things. First, it's an argument that answers each part of an essay question. It tells the reader why that answer is the case. So usually an essay question is going to be open-ended. There's going to be multiple possible answers for it. And the thesis statement is going to state what your opinion is and why. It's a roadmap for a paper. It tells the reader what to expect before they read it. So I should be able to look at a thesis statement of yours and know exactly what's coming in a paper. Obviously, it's going to directly answer the essay question. And it's going to make a claim that others might dispute. It's an opinion statement. When essays questions are well-written essay questions, they are very open-ended. There's many possible answers, like who is the greatest basketball player of all time? There are a lot of people you could answer. You could answer Will Chamberlain, you could go with Michael Jordan, even LeBron James deserves some mention there, Jerry West, many different choices. A lot of other people are going to pick different things. It will be up to you to make the choice and then how you want to defend it. And then lastly, it usually shows up as a single sentence towards the end of your first paragraph. It's going to present your argument to a reader. Alright? Now we're going to learn how to write one of these. Keys to a strong thesis, things that a strong thesis has. It's going to answer the essay question clearly. There is going to be no doubt. So in our NBA example, or who's the best basketball player of all time, LeBron James is the greatest basketball player of all time. I've answered the question pretty clearly there. Okay, and then again, the strong thesis, it's going to take a position that others might challenge or oppose. There are many possible answers. Some might answer differently. You're allowed to say Michael Jordan to the basketball question. I just might not agree with you. And then again, the statement is very specific. And when I say specific, I'm saying yes, LeBron James is the greatest basketball player in history. But I'm also going to list my reasons why. Right there is part of that thesis. How do you know your thesis is strong? Your essay is going to support your thesis without wandering. So when you're done writing your essay literally follows exactly what your thesis looks like. It passes a how and what test. A reader clearly understands what you are arguing and how you are arguing it. So in our LeBron James example, if I wrote out a good thesis with that, a reader would understand that I'm arguing LeBron James is the greatest basketball player of all time, and then they would know just from my thesis statement exactly which points I'm going to use to make that argument. If you were using Michael Jordan, you'd probably roll with the whole championships thing. Okay? Structure of the thesis. We've got two parts. The statement that restates and then clearly answers the question. Guys, you have to assume the reader does not know the essay question. So when I'm writing that basketball essay, and I have to say LeBron James is the greatest player of all time, they're not going to know that the question that I was addressing is who's the greatest basketball player of all time. And the second thing is called a method statement, and that's going to list the reasons that you are going to use to defend your answer. And there's a magic word that usually goes in between here in argumentative essays. Okay, something, 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 blank these reasons. And that magic word is because. Okay, it's not always going to be the case, but it's oftentimes the word that goes in between. LeBron James is the greatest basketball player of all time because of how many different positions he can play, how good of an all-around player he is, how much better he makes his teammates. I've listed 3 specific reasons. Alright, so practice here for a second. I want you guys to take a moment, and I want you to think about what the best movie that you have ever seen is. Just think about it for a second. When you think you have it, write it down on your paper. There's a question there. Now I want you to real quickly come up with 2 or 3 reasons to use as support, and then go ahead and write them down. So 2 or 3 reasons why that's the best movie you've ever seen. Now that you're done with that, I want you to take a second, and I want you to mash those 2 things together in a sentence. Go ahead and pause the video right now, because I'm going to show you my example. Here's my example. The best movie I had ever seen is The Gladiator, because of the character development, Russell Crowe's outstanding performance, and the constant action throughout the movie. Very simple. I've answered the question while restating it a little bit. That is my first part. And then in my method statement, I list the reasons why. So I'm going to spend my essay talking about the character development that occurs, Russell Crowe's performance, and then the action throughout the movie. Real easy, right, guys? Okay, what you need to remember here is an argumentative essay. Again, there is no wrong answer so long as you can defend your answer. You have to remember there are many possible answers to this. Now, we've used the basketball player thing here. So what are some categories that you think of there is a greatest of all time? You could do female athletes. If we do this in class, I'm going to throw this back at you guys to make this list. So greatest female athletes. Greatest football player. Greatest about actor. About rap artist. It's Straight Outta Compton come out recently. You could do rap artist. You could also go with actress, obviously. Let's not be sexist on that one. Greatest male athlete. Again, not being sexist. How about greatest president? Greatest president of all time. I mean, I'm sure you guys can come up with some other ones. All right, so just some greatest of all time. And if you don't know it, that's what GOAT means. All right. So now, what I want you to do here is I want you to think back to that list that we just created, or you can come up with your own. And I want you to think of what is the best blank of all time. So the best president, the best pro football player, the best actress, the best female athlete. Okay, go ahead and fill that in on your sheet which one you're going to do. So pick a topic. And then I want you to think about what the best is. When you've decided, write it down. And then I want you to use those steps, follow the steps, to write a thesis statement. In class, we're going to pause the video here, and we are actually going to share these and do this ourselves. So you would pause now. All right, now that we're unpaused, for the rest of the essay, a good argumentative essay is going to follow this format. An intro paragraph that's going to catch the reader's attention and ends with the thesis statements, some general statements to get the reader interested in reading what you have to say. Body paragraphs are going to defend the thesis, one for each piece of that method statement. So if you have 5 things in your method statement, oh, you're writing 5 body paragraphs. If you only have 2, then you're writing 2. And then in the closing paragraph, it's usually going to start by saying the thesis again. Okay, and then it's going to usually in a historical essay have some food for thought or some way to tie things to the modern day. Obviously, if we're talking about the Roman Empire, you could maybe find some way to tie it in with the virtual American Empire that's been in existence since the 1940s. Okay, very simple structure. This has a name, and some of you might know this. This is what we know as a 5-paragraph essay. Okay, this is the basic structure for a 5-paragraph essay. Obviously, you can amend it down to 4 or up to 7, but it's really simple. An intro paragraph with the thesis, body paragraphs defending, and then a closing paragraph restating the thesis. And that's it for this video, guys.